Well, thanks for joining me for the next 5 minutes or so. This is our Take 5 segment. I usually record this either Friday morning or late Thursday, and hopefully you get this maybe Saturday. It's a bit of a 5-minute preview of what we're going to be discussing on Sunday. Well, pretty big Sunday we have coming up. We will be concluding our teaching series called Living from the Heart, a verse-by-verse, chapter-by-chapter study of the book of, or the letter to the Philippians. And we're going to come to the very end of that series this particular Sunday. And it ends on a very high mark. And so it would be a great week to get sort of at the church at 10 o'clock. We hope that you'll join us in person. If not, though, you can always find our teaching on YouTube. You can get it through our website or you can go through Facebook. But as we wrap up this series called Living from the Heart, we're going to discuss who is our master or who is our ruler. If you've been around Faith Church for any amount of time, you know, and I've said this over and over again, that created beings, which that is who you and I are, we have a ruler or we have a master. The idea of self-rule or the idea of being our own master or being the captain of our own ship is the biggest lie, and it's the original lie. In fact, that was the lie that was in the Garden of Eden. If you read the book of Genesis, the first couple of chapters or first 3 chapters, you know the story. The serpent came into the garden and deceived the woman and deceived the man, and they bit into the forbidden fruit. And here was the lie. You can rule yourself. Because before that, they were under God's rule. And in the garden, they were free. They were under God's rule. He was their master, but they were free. They were free to eat of any of the other trees, right, in the Garden of Eden, except for the one, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. For when you do, the scripture says, you will surely die. And yet the serpent came and deceived Adam and Eve that they could rule themselves and that God was just keeping them from something. That he just wanted to keep them under his rule and keep them under his mastery. And so go ahead and be your own ruler. Go ahead. You know better than God. But the truth is, as soon as they bit into that fruit, they were ruled by something else. Instead of being ruled by God, where there was pleasure and there was relationship and there was purpose in life and there was provision with the garden and living under God's rule, when God is your master, he loves you. But if you exchange God for another ruler and you are not it, something will rule your heart. If it's not God, whatever it is will be destructive. And we see this in the life of Adam and Eve. When they bit into the fruit, immediately the lie was exposed. They were ruled by fear. They were ruled by shame. They were ruled by blaming one another because of what had just happened, and they got kicked out of the garden. When you exchange God, who is your ruler, for another ruler, that ruler does not love you. The Lord loves you. And with the Lord as your ruler, then there's peace and there's pleasure and there's purpose in life. And the Lord is your provider. It is so much better, obviously, to have the Lord who loves you as your ruler. Whatever else rules you, whatever else masters you, does not love you. In fact, it desires to destroy you. And the truth of the fact is that as created beings, we are wired to have a ruler. The idea of self-rule or being your own master or being the own captain of your ship is the biggest lie and the original lie that is out there. And you can find this all the way from Genesis to Revelation, this idea of this big lie of self-rule. I can be my own master. Now, what if it's not the Lord? What rules us? What masters us? Well, it could be any number of things. You know, there are people who are ruled by fear. There are people who are ruled or mastered by a habit. There are people who are ruled or mastered by trying to protect an image that they have all things together. You can be ruled by someone else. That person can be living or that person could be dead. You can be ruled by lust. You can be ruled by an appetite. You can be ruled by your past. You can be ruled by fear of the future. I mean, you can be ruled by your wallet, where your possessions possess you. And in fact, this is what we're going to be talking about as Paul really winds up and wraps up his letter. He commends the Philippians for allowing the Lord to be their master in the area of their possessions. They believed that God was the owner of all. And the Apostle Paul gives them, because they had settled that issue of who their master is, was it God or was it money? And because they had settled that issue early, Paul talks about the benefits of what will happen in your life when you make God your ruler in that area of your life. Hopefully, we will see you at 10 o'clock on Sunday. If not, God bless. You can get to our teaching through our YouTube channel or Facebook, and have a wonderful remainder of your day.